Now we're going to work on these lights down here. So we're going to tab into edit mode, we're going to switch to face select. We can actually go to front view by pressing 1, and you can do Z for wireframe. And you can see where these lights are supposed to be approximately. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the faces that are in this area, and then we're going to use the knife cut tool to cut out this shape. So we're going to take the faces, we're going to duplicate them, and then cut out this shape. Another option would be to just use a plane and then use the shrink wrap modifier over here, shrink wrap it to our car, and then do it that way. But I found this method works a little bit better as far as how closely the shape is going to match up with our car. So we're just going to take these three faces. These are the three that we need. You can see the black kind of goes a little bit higher than that, but on our car that's like where the light is, so we can't use that area. So right here is going to be what we're going to use. So we're going to take these four faces. We're just going to do Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, P to separate, choose selection, tab into object mode, select this object here. You can do Shift H to hide everything else, tab into edit mode. 1 for front view, we're going to switch to vertex select, and Z for wireframe. So now we're just going to use the knife cut tool. So we're going to do K for the knife cut, and we're going to left click here and do C to make a straight line. And we'll just left click approximately at the end of this. Then we're going to go down here and we're going to left click so that these two are perfectly vertical with each other, and then we'll just press enter. We'll deal with this one after. So we're going to do K for the knife cut tool again. We're going to left click here, we're going to do C to make a straight line, and again we're going to go over to approximately where we want this to be, so probably here is fine, and we'll just left click there, and again just make a straight line all the way down and just left click and press enter. Now we're going to do K for the knife cut tool again, and we're going to go to approximately where the bottom of this would be, so go to over here, and then just left click, C to make a straight line, go over here, left click again, and then press enter. If you're not happy with the positioning of this, you can just alt right click, use Q to slide it up and down, or just use edge slide. You could do Control E and do edge slide right here. Next we're just going to select this vertex and merge it up, so select it, then shift select this one and do Alt M, choose that last. Now to get this perfectly in the center, we're just going to do Control R, and then left click right click. So now these two vertices are at the same Z value, so they're perfectly in the center of these two areas. We're going to do S and then X and then just scale these out until they match the reference. Then we're just going to delete everything we don't need, so we're going to go to face select and select these faces which make up that light area, and then we're just going to do Control I, press delete, and choose faces. So now we have just the headlight area left. And now we'll just take a quick look at the picture so we can see what we're supposed to be doing. So we have this black area that goes around it, and then we have this little metal area which is a little bit inside of the black area, and then just inside that you have the light. So you have three little areas we have to make, this black rubberish whatever it is, and then the metal, and then the light itself. So we're going to do an inset to create the black rubber, we'll do another inset to create this metal part, and then we'll just make the light. So the first step is just to select everything. Just do A to select everything. We'll just do I to do an inset, and we'll just do a small inset for this black rubber part, and we'll do the same for the metal part. So just do I to inset, and this will be the metal part, and then the rest of this can be our light. So we're just going to alt right click on this outer edge loop. It might be difficult to get it, just alt right click like here, try to get this outer edge loop or loop of faces. And we're just going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and we're going to bring it forward on the Z axis, or Y axis I mean. So just bring it forward on the Y axis. If you wanted to at this point, you could actually tab into object mode and then do Alt H, and that'll bring back the car so you can actually compare this little area, which is this part's going to be the black part that goes around it. So you can kind of compare that to this. And I'm just going to bring mine back a little bit because it looks like the black area doesn't really stick out too far, but it does stick out a little bit. And another adjustment you could make is like switching to edge select and grabbing this edge and moving it forward. But I might just do that with all of them once I'm done, so I'm going to leave that for now. So that part's done. I'm going to go back to front view by pressing 1 on the number pad. And we're actually just going to alt right click on this next set of edges, or this next edge loop or face loop. This time we're going to do I to do an inset, and we're just going to do a small inset here, just so that there's a bit of space between the black part and then this metal part, because they are basically touching, but you want to make them have a little bit of physical space between them, or at least that's how I'm going to do it. And then you're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and you're just going to bring this out. So this is that metal part, which is right here. It looks like it sticks out a little bit farther, and it does actually, than the rubber part. So just bring it out a little bit further than the rubber part, and that'll be fine for that. So I'm going to go back to front view, and now we're going to select the part for the headlight. Then again, we can just do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and we'll just bring this out. So this will be our nice little headlight. And then you just want to start looking at your references to get a better idea of how this actually looks on the real car. So you see the black rubber part, at least on the side of the car, goes out and kind of has, like, you know, this shape like this. So this one needs to go a lot further back. This vertex right here needs to be a lot further back. So like this needs to be further back. So if we go to vertex select and just grab this vertex, and you can see it's not even touching the car at this point, which is fine because we're going to have to bring it back anyway. So we can just bring it back until it touches the car. And then the shape is a little bit closer to the shape of this. It's not going to be perfect, but that's a little bit closer to what it's supposed to be. And I can tell from this, it looks like the metal part sticks out a bit further than what we have it. So this metal part needs to be sticking out a little further, at least on this side. I think on the top and other sides it doesn't stick out as far, but on this side you can see it's got quite a bit of distance here. So it's a little bit, we need to make this a little bit further out on our model. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the vertices in this area. So you're going to take these vertices on the side, and we're just going to bring them out some. That's pretty much it. Then if we look at the light, you can see this part is kind of flatter, and then, you know, this part's a little flat as well. So what we want to do is, instead of having this totally round, is we kind of want to take these and just flatten it out a bit. So you can either just bring these forward. You could do like S, Y, and 0 and do it that way, or you can just kind of eyeball it, because I don't think it's perfectly flat anyway. So we're going to bring this out a bit more just to kind of have this a bit flatter on the face of this. And we'll adjust some of these as well. You can bring some of these forward to try to flatten these out some. Then the last detail we want to look at is actually the light has a curvature like this. So we want to make sure like the center is sticking out further than the sides, because it kind of bulges out like this. So for that, we're just going to take all the center vertices that are part of the light, and then you can go to side view if you really wanted to, and you could actually just bring this forward a little just to try to make sure that this part sticks out a bit further. And I'm actually going to adjust some of these so that's a better curvature. Then the last thing you're going to want to do is just tab into object mode and make sure to hit smooth shading so that we have smooth shading on this. Another thing we could do later if we wanted to is to actually add in some bevels to these edges to make it look a little bit nicer. But that's going to increase the vertex count, so it's up to you, like, if you want to do that. Looks okay, like right how it is now, but I mean, if you wanted it to look a little better, you could add in some of those bevels, like maybe for the light if you thought it needed a bevel or something. But I think that's good for now, so you're just going to save it by going to File and Save. Thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, head on over to patreon.com/StephenBrooks. Thank you for your support.